What's going on, guys? GloveSaveHockey here. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 rated prospects for the 2026 NHL Draft. Beginning with number 1, I've got Gavin McKenna, who's going to be playing for Penn State this year, played for the Medicine Hat Tigers in the WHL last season. McKenna just had unreal production last year in the WHL. The best part about his game, I would say, is just his hockey IQ, and his passing is just really good as well. Like, he's able to see plays before they happen. He doesn't rush them. It kind of just goes at his own pace. He's able to control the puck. His ability to shift roles as well, like he can play support, he can be the trailer. He's able to get open and position himself to be supportive off the rushes. I think Gavin McKenna is going to have a really good season with Penn State this year. As you can tell, last year with the Medicine Hat Tigers, he put up 129 points in 56 games, including 41 goals and 88 assists. Obviously, his first game at Penn State went really well with 2 assists. I think that he might even have a little bit of a slower start to the year, just kind of getting adjusted, and then he could be able to take off after that, and I think he's going to get somewhere between 60 and 70 points this year and go number 1 in the 2026 draft. Going at number 2 overall, I've got Keaton Verhoff, who's going to be playing at the University of North Dakota this season. Verhoff is a really big 6'4", 212 right-handed shooting defenseman who had really solid production for Victoria in the WHL last year. 21 goals and 24 assists for 45 points in 63 games as a defenseman, a 16-year-old defenseman. I think the best part about Verhoff's game, really strong shot, obviously. He's really good defensively as well. He uses his size and physicality to separate players from the puck. Obviously, he's got a pretty high offensive upside with the size he is. How many goals he's able to score already. Like, I could see this guy scoring 10-plus goals a season in the NHL as a right-handed shooting defenseman. His strength is definitely his physical advantage, which he uses well in board battles, inside the defensive zone, protecting in front of the net. He's a guy that plays in all situations, first power play, first penalty kill. Even though he didn't get the opportunity on the first power play a lot last season, I think he's going to be a guy for Penn State and wherever he goes moving forward on the first power play. I think Keaton Verhoff is a shoo-in right now to go second overall with his size. I think an area for him to develop is definitely his lateral skating, as it's not super impressive at times. It's definitely gotten better, but if he can improve that, I think this guy could turn out to be a number 1 defenseman in the NHL. At pick number 3, I've got Ivar Stenberg, who plays for Frölunda in the SHL. Ivar Stenberg is more of a smaller player at 6 foot, 181 pounds, but you don't really notice it with how hard this guy works and how skilled he is at the same time. He's been fully playing in the SHL to begin this season, where he has 5 points in 9 games, a goal and 4 assists. He absolutely lit up the under-20 league last year and got 25 games in at the SHL level before the end of last season. I think some strengths about Ivar Stenberg is his offensive instinct and his scoring ability. Along with that, he's also a really good playmaker who has really good vision as well. So he's kind of like a dual threat. He has really strong work ethic, too, at 6 foot. I mean, nothing's really going to come easy, especially playing against men when you're that size. And I will say, like, watching some clips of him, he doesn't really look out of place whatsoever. He just looks like he's kind of a guy who's, like, mid-career, and it's not a guy who's about to be drafted to the NHL. His maturity and composure, he plays with a level of confidence for his age, like I said. He doesn't look overwhelmed in the big moments at all in the SHL. One thing about Ivan Stenberg that I would say that he's got to develop is his strength. I know 181 pounds is definitely pretty good for a 6'1" size, but I mean, to handle top NHL physicality and talent, it's a total different game than being in Europe, so I think that's definitely something he's going to have to develop. And some decision-making under pressure. I mean, he's really good off the rush on the power play, but I mean, under pressure a little bit, if he can make some better decisions, I think that he could be a very impact player in the NHL, and I've got him going at number 3. At pick number 4, I've got Tynan Lawrence of the Muskegon Lumberjacks. He's a centerman who's very highly skilled. He was the playoff MVP in the USHL last season, where he put up over a point per game, 18 points in 14 playoff games, just under a point per game in the regular season as a 16-year-old with 54 in 56 games. Honestly, some things that really stand out about Tynan Lawrence's game is his skating and transition ability. When he's skating through the neutral zone with the puck, he just looks like one of those like high-end NHL elite players who's able to carry the puck and make something happen in the offensive zone. His puck skills and creativity really stand out, strong in possession play. Players know how hard he is often to contain in the offensive zone, and this guy's playing against guys that are basically a couple years older than him as well. And he's got really good two-way and defensive awareness. Like, he's not cheating the puck. He's not really just going for goals. He's also really caring about the defensive zone. That's why Muskegon did win a championship last year, and he was the MVP. Some things to improve on for Tynan Lawrence as he's kind of making his transition over to the NHL is some consistency. I mean, like, he was pretty consistent throughout the season last year, but even like the Ivan Halinko when he's going up against like top-end talent at his age, he didn't really stand out too much this year as much as I would have hoped. And his strength and physicality, he's not really too big of a guy, and I think if he can develop those areas, he could potentially be a first-line center in the NHL. At pick number 5, I've got Ethan Belchez, who plays for the Windsor Spitfires in the OHL. Ethan Belchez has a lot of different factors to his game that stand out. As you can tell, the first one, 6'5", 227 pounds. He does play like a power forward type style. In the OHL this year, he's off to a pretty good start with 6 points in 6 games, 3 goals and 3 assists. Last season, 56 games played, he had 38 points, and I know he had a really hot start to the year and then kind of fell off a little bit. I'm expecting a really big year from Ethan Belchez. He's a power forward who uses his size to his advantage. He uses his size to create space and get himself to the net. He honestly reminds me of JVR in his draft year around the net. I really like the way he is with the puck. I think he's going to score a lot of goals in the NHL, just kind of being a net front presence on the power play. He's got a really good shot. His goal scoring instincts are there. He's really developed his skating ability over the offseason. I was really surprised to see him at the Ivan Halinka, how much it had improved, and watching him so far in this OHL season. Some areas for him to definitely develop is his 200-foot game. He just doesn't really seem that invested into defense to me, and his lateral mobility and agility. Obviously, we were talking about his skating being kind of slow. It has gotten better, but his lateral movement isn't quite there as well. I think there's potential for Belchez to go even higher in the draft depending how much he produces, and I think he could probably even drop a bit depending how his production is, but I think a lot of teams are going to be interested in taking him early. At pick number 6, I've got Ryan Lynn of the Vancouver Giants getting selected. Ryan Lynn has a bunch of different things about his game that stand out as a right-handed shooting defenseman. I mean, his skating and mobility is definitely one of his strengths. He's able to get out of tough situations and be able to make offensive plays. As you can tell, last season, he had 53 points in 60 games. As a 16-year-old, he's got 6 points in 4 games this season. Honestly, with Ryan Lynn, it's not just his offensive game. His defensive IQ and positioning is probably amongst the best in this draft. I just think a team would be nuts to not, as of right now, take this guy in the top 10 despite his size. I just think there's so much upside with a player like this, and at worst, he's playing top 4 minutes for you. If he can definitely add some size and physicality, it wouldn't hurt as well. Like, I think if this guy was 6'3", we'd be talking about him going probably in the top 3 or 4. Areas of growth for him, obviously the size and physicality, but the foot speed and long stride, as much as he is good, like his mobility, he's not the fastest skater, so it's definitely something for him to work on. I have Lynn going at 6. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes higher, but because of his size, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes lower as well. At pick number 7, I've got Ryan Rubrick, who plays for the Niagara Ice Dogs in the OHL. Ryan Rubrick is a guy heading into this draft who could go anywhere in the top 10, I think. He's 6'4", 216 pounds. He's listed as a centerman on a lot of sites, while he barely plays center. If you can tell his production from the last couple seasons heading to this year, 28 goals as a 16-year-old, 41 goals last year as a 17-year-old. He is a late 07, so I mean, he is a lot older than a lot of people in this draft. He's off to a pretty good start this year with 5 points in 6 games. The best thing about Ryan Rubrick, he's got a really powerful shot, and he's got that goal-scoring instinct. One of the most emphasized traits is his shot power and his scoring touch. Shoots from anywhere in the offensive zone, and that's why he's able to produce at such a high level. He's really improved his skating in the last little while as well, because I will say there's the one knock about Rubrick's game is he is a big body, but he doesn't use it really to his advantage. His compete level, like off the puck, isn't kind of like screaming power forward. So I think if he can improve that part of his game while being like a goal-scoring threat, he could be a really impactful player in the NHL. But right now, I'm just not really seeing like the effort level outside of him scoring goals. So that's why I've got him a little bit down in the first round here at number 7. At pick number 8, I've got Mathis Preston of the Spokane Chiefs getting selected. Mathis Preston is definitely an undersized forward at 5'11", 176 pounds, but There's so many traits of Mathis Preston's game that you will like if you watch him. Last year as a 16-year-old, 45 points in 54 games in the WHL. He's off to a hot start with 7 points in 4 games this year. Mathis Preston is just one of those players that's just completely controlling the play in the offensive zone, able to kind of like skate circles around a lot of players. Very creative. He has a high-end shot as well, which allows him to score a lot of goals, and I think it's going to help him as he kind of progresses to the next level here. I think if Mathis Preston was a couple inches taller, I'd probably have him as like a top 5 pick potentially. I really love his game in accordance to, like, he's got explosive speed. He's able to separate himself from defenders as well. Some areas for development for Preston, though, is definitely his physical strength in board battles. He's not really kind of getting into the dirty areas to be able to get the puck and be able to give it to his teammates. And his defensive game is not the strongest as well. So I think he's definitely going to have to improve that, especially if he wants to be a center at the next level. At pick number 9, I've got Daxon Rudolph of the Prince Albert Raiders getting selected. He is another right-handed shooting defenseman sitting in at 6'2", 203 pounds. Had a pretty good offensive season last year with Prince Albert with 41 points in 64 games. He's off to a hot start with 5 points in 4 games this season. Daxon Rudolph, I would say his defensive ability kind of stands out more than his offensive ability. He's noted for being aggressive in defending, stepping up early on rushes, and denying zone entries. His offensive upside is definitely there too, as you can tell, like 40-plus points last year, over a point per game this year. Very strong vision and playmaking, and good at making simple yet effective breakout passes. His weaknesses and areas to grow, I think his risk versus reward offensively, and what I mean by that is he doesn't really seem that comfortable like stepping into the rush and potentially giving up like a play that goes the other way. And I think as like an offensive defenseman, that's sometimes something that you do have to risk and hope that your team and will be able to bail you out of that. So I think if he's able to take some more risks offensively, he could be a really good player, and that's why I got him going at number 9. At pick number 10, I've got Chase Reed of the Sioux Greyhounds getting selected. Chase Reed is a player that I'm definitely keeping my eye on this season, and why I say that is last season he came over to the OHL after the NCAA CHL agreement. He was playing in the Null last year where he wasn't playing too well, but then came over to the Sioux, 40 points in 39 games as a defenseman. He's got 4 in 7 games to start the year. Not the hottest start comparing to last season, but I love Chase Reed's game. He's a smooth, high-level skater. His puck moving and transition skills are really good as well. It's one of his biggest assets to move the puck up the ice cleanly and be able to generate scoring chances for his team. His hockey IQ and his composure, he's just never really rushing with his decision making. It's definitely something to keep an eye on. Some areas for him to improve, though, is definitely his strength and his defensive zone play. Definitely doesn't stand out too much to me. I think that he's going to kind of get going here and become more of an offensive force in the OHL. I think that Chase Reed's definitely got the potential to go top 10, but there's definitely a couple right-handed shooting defensemen that I've got ahead of him right now. All right, so that's going to do it here for my top 10 picks here. We're in early October still. I haven't really scouted too many guys, but this is a group of players that I think are going at the top as of right now. So just to take you over the top 10 one more time, threw a couple honorable mentions in there. From 1 to 10, we got Gavin McKenna, Keaton Verhoff, Ivar Stenberg, Tynan Lawrence, Ethan Belchez, Ryan Lynn, Ryan Rubrick, Mathis Preston, Daxon Rudolph, and Chase Reed. My 3 honorable mentions are Vigo Bjork, Xavier Villeneuve, and Adam Novotny. Thank you very much again for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Curious to know what you guys think of my top 10. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.